Imagine an old cat leaving the warm room where it normally sleeps. It squeezes behind a shed, settles beneath a bush, and refuses to return. To you, the movement looks deliberate, almost ceremonial, as though the cat has received a private message about its final hour. But behavior can look purposeful without containing the thought you imagine inside it. A sick animal feels changes before you can see them. Its muscles weaken, its temperature shifts, breathing becomes harder, pain alters movement, and familiar noises become exhausting. The animal may not think, "Death is coming," yet it can still feel, "Something is wrong, and this place is unsafe." That difference is the center of the mystery. Sensing bodily collapse is not the same as understanding death. A creature can detect hunger without understanding starvation, run from fire without understanding combustion, and hide from weakness without imagining a future in which it no longer exists. Can any animal cross that final mental distance? To answer, you first need to separate 4 ideas that your own mind blends together. Death stops the body from functioning. Death cannot normally be reversed. Death eventually reaches every living thing. Death has physical causes. A full human concept of death can hold all 4 at once. An animal may understand only 1 or 2. It may learn that a motionless companion will not stand again, while never grasping that the same ending must one day happen to itself. This creates a strange possibility. An animal may know what death is without knowing that it is personally about to die. James R. Anderson and his colleagues described a revealing case in 2010. Their study, often called pawn thanatology, followed chimpanzees around an elderly female during her final decline. The group groomed her, remained near her, inspected her after her body stopped responding, and behaved differently around the place where she died. Those reactions suggested that the chimpanzees noticed a profound change. Yet notice what the study could not prove. The dying female left no report of what she expected. The others showed attention, testing, and social disturbance, but none could explain whether they understood permanent biological death. Behavior opens a window, but it does not switch on the light inside another mind. Chimpanzee mothers make the puzzle even harder. Some carry dead infants for hours, days, or occasionally much longer. At first glance, that could seem like a failure to recognize death. But researchers have also observed mothers carrying bodies in unusual positions, allowing them to drag and treating them differently from living infants. A 2020 analysis of cases from Gombe National Park found behavioral signs that mothers recognized that death had occurred, even while they continued carrying the body. Attachment may outlast expectation. The hands can keep performing an old relationship after the mind has detected that the relationship has changed. Does that sound entirely unfamiliar to you? Elephants offer another powerful clue. In 2006, Karen McComb, Lucy Baker, and Cynthia Moss placed elephant skulls, ivory, skulls from other large animals, and ordinary natural objects where wild African elephants could investigate them. The elephants showed greater interest in elephant remains, especially ivory, than in the comparison objects. They touched, smelled, and examined material from their own species. That does not prove an elephant understands its own mortality. It does show that death-related remains are not merely ignored as meaningless debris. Another 2006 report by Ian Douglas Hamilton and colleagues documented elephants attending a dying matriarch, attempting to help her, and visiting after her death. The behavior crossed family lines, which made simple maternal instinct an incomplete explanation. An elephant can therefore respond to dying as a special social event. It may detect the loss of movement, voice, smell, and social response. It may remember the individual and react when expected signals disappear. But does it project that pattern forward onto its own weakening body. Here the evidence becomes thin. Stories often describe elephants leaving herds, dogs seeking hidden places, whales moving into shallow water, or elderly animals becoming unusually quiet before death. Some accounts may be accurate observations. The dangerous step comes next, when a human story turns withdrawal into a conscious farewell. Withdrawal has simpler explanations. Pain makes contact unpleasant. Fever and injury make open spaces risky. A vulnerable prey animal attracts predators, while a weakened social animal may avoid conflict, noise, or competition. Natural selection can favor hiding long before any species evolves a philosophical concept of death. Your own body does something similar. When illness hits, bright light can hurt, conversation can drain you, and a quiet room can feel safer. You do not need to believe death is near to seek isolation. Why should an animal's retreat automatically mean more? Predators and prey add another layer. Many animals conceal weakness because weakness changes how others treat them. A limping antelope can become a target. A sick primate can lose rank. A wounded bird may reduce movement because every unnecessary action spends energy that the body can no longer replace. These responses can appear like preparation for death. Biologically, they may be preparation for survival. The animal withdraws because hiding, resting, or conserving energy once improved the odds of recovery. Even when recovery is no longer possible, the old program can keep running. Then comes the creature with the tiny brain. In 2010, Jürgen Heinze and Bartosz Walter studied moribund ants, meaning ants close to death. Some dying workers left the nest and remained outside until they died. When researchers exposed healthy ants to carbon dioxide to shorten their remaining life, those ants also withdrew. That finding sounds like astonishing self-awareness. A dying ant appears to recognize its condition and protect the colony from contamination. But the explanation may be both simpler and more extraordinary. The ant may respond to internal chemical or physiological changes through an evolved rule. When the body enters a certain state, move away. No image of death is required. No private funeral is required. The colony gains protection because disease and corpses remain outside, while the individual follows a mechanism shaped across generations. The ant may behave as though it knows, even if no thought resembling a personal prediction of death ever appears. This reveals the trap hidden inside the question. You are asking about knowledge, but nature often builds behavior without explanation. A spider constructs a web without studying geometry. A bird migrates without holding a map of the planet. An ant may leave before death without possessing a concept of personal non-existence. André Gonçalves and Dora Biro offered a useful idea in comparative thanatology. A corpse creates an animacy problem. It has the shape, smell, and identity of a living companion. Yet it does not move by itself or answer social signals. Animals may inspect, touch, lift, groom, strike, or revisit the body because their minds are trying to resolve that contradiction. That process can produce something close to a basic understanding of death. Repeated experience may teach that a completely unresponsive body does not recover. A socially intelligent animal may learn irreversibility and loss of function from observation. But personal anticipation requires another step, linking present bodily sensations to that learned final state. Some animals may be capable of that link. Great apes, elephants, and certain cetaceans possess long memories, complex social lives, flexible problem-solving, and evidence of self-related cognition. Those abilities make personal death awareness plausible. Plausible is not proven. The hardest evidence would require behavior that clearly depends on expecting one's own irreversible death, rather than merely responding to pain, weakness, fear, or instinct. A final deliberate journey could qualify, but only if simpler causes were ruled out. A farewell directed at specific companions might qualify, but human interpretation could still distort it. How could a researcher test such a thing without turning an animal's last hours into an experiment? There is also a difference between prediction and recognition. A body can recognize a familiar internal pattern without calculating its final outcome. An animal that has survived illness before may seek the same shelter again, even when this illness is different and fatal. What looks like a chosen death place may simply be a remembered recovery place that no longer works. That possibility is less poetic, but it fits how learning usually operates. That ethical problem keeps the question partly open. Death is rare, unpredictable, and difficult to observe closely in wild animals. Internal expectations leave no fossil and no spoken testimony. The most dramatic stories often come from single events, where emotion is high and alternative explanations cannot be tested. So the honest answer is not a clean yes or no. Some animals clearly detect severe bodily failure. Some respond to dead companions as though death has unique social meaning. Some appear to understand that a dead individual has permanently stopped functioning. Evidence that an animal knows in advance that its own existence is about to end remains uncertain. The behavior may be there, but the meaning cannot yet be separated from instinct, sickness, learned association, and human projection. That uncertainty does not make animals less remarkable. It makes their minds stranger. An animal does not need your exact concept of death to experience fear, pain, attachment, confusion, or the loss of safety. It does not need a sentence about tomorrow to feel its body changing today. Consciousness may come in layers, with sensation at the bottom, learned expectation above it, and abstract mortality somewhere higher. Your own awareness may also be less separate from those layers than you prefer to believe. Long before you learned the word death, your nervous system already knew how to hide, freeze, cling, call, and seek warmth. Your philosophy arrived later. The ancient body came first. That is why the lonely cat beneath the bush is so easy to misunderstand. You see a final decision because your mind turns behavior into narrative. The cat may feel only weakness, cold, noise, danger, and the urgent need for a protected corner. Or perhaps, in a form that science has not yet learned to measure, it recognizes more. The mystery remains alive because both possibilities fit the silence. The animal may not carry a human idea of death. It may carry something older, a bodily certainty that the world is narrowing, strength is disappearing, and safety matters more than company. Is that knowledge, instinct, or the place where the two begin to merge? Your animal walks away, and now the real answer is far stranger. It may not be going somewhere to die, but somewhere to feel safe. While its body approaches an ending, its mind may understand only in pieces.